I think probably Carlton, cool. AZ, cool. Heidemann, I think she'll be a really bad contest shooter because it takes her a long time to get her shot off. Howard, fair enough. Mabry, duh. Janelle, I think Janelle is more of a game shooter, but cool. Still, if you look at percentages, Sophie is number 2 behind Aaliyah. And unlike Aaliyah, she's doing it on 4 attempts a game.
The whole situation around Sophie Cunningham getting left off the three-point shootout list has turned into a bigger story than expected. At first glance, it didn't seem like a major issue, given that there are 6 spots and Caitlin Clark had already turned hers down. It seemed possible that Cunningham simply passed as well. But she was part of the lineup back in 2024, during the Phoenix-hosted All-Star Weekend, so this wasn't a case of her sitting out by choice. Instead, it looks like she's genuinely frustrated with being left off this time.
Unlike Aaliyah, she's doing it on 4 attempts a game. And has basically been doing it for 2 straight years. Not only that, Kelsey Mitchell's didn't get an invite. 42% on 6.5 attempts per game. Like, there is not a single person in this competition who's shooting 40% from through. There's not. And like Sophie Cunningham I think she's a 0.5% from the field and 1% from the free throw line from 50, 40, 90, which is kind of crazy. But I didn't even realize that.
The confirmed group includes Carlton, A, Heidemann, Ryan, Janelle, and Mabry. Looking at each selection, Carlton and A are reasonable picks. Heidemann might struggle in this format since her release tends to be slow. Howard makes sense too, and Mabry is an obvious choice. Janelle leans more towards scoring in live game situations rather than pure shooting exhibitions, but her inclusion is still fine.
Which is kind of crazy. But I didn't even realize that. There is 0 40% three-point shooters. 0. I would say the reason wasn't invited. She's made 5 less threes than Heidemann and Easy Foot, despite the fact that Sophie Cunningham's come off the bench the entire year. So yeah, why wasn't Kelsey Mitchell invited? Caitlin Clark has made, what? How many threes per game has Caitlin Clark made?
Where things get harder to justify is the numbers. Cunningham ranks 2nd in three-point percentage league-wide, trailing only Aaliyah, and she's doing it on close to 4 attempts per outing, a pace she's kept up for 2 seasons running. On top of that, Kelsey Mitchell, who's shooting 42% from deep on roughly 6.5 attempts a night, didn't get a call either. Nobody currently in the shootout field is hitting 40% from 3. Not one player. Meanwhile, another shooter sits within half a percentage point of the 50-40-90 club, missing it by a single point at the free throw line, and somehow still wasn't picked.
How many threes per game has Caitlin Clark made? Despite the fact she's played. Is this threes per game? I think our 5 threes per game probably is actually right, to be honest. But you've got Sophie Cunningham then responding. So what else is new with everybody? Like, she's not happy. And I'm going to be real. I don't think the league wants anything to do with Sophie Cunningham right now. I don't think the league...
As for the reasoning behind excluding her, the gap between her made threes and Heidemann's is only about 5, despite Cunningham playing all season as a reserve off the bench. So questions remain about why Mitchell was passed over too, and about how many threes Clark herself has actually connected on this year given her limited playing time. Likely somewhere around 5 per game if she'd been included.
Sophie Cunningham right now. I don't think the league, I don't think the Players Association want anything to do with her. I think they are counting down the days so she's out of this league. And I'm going to talk about it tomorrow when I'm actually in my office, when I wake up in the morning and not a 2:30 a.m. I'm trying to be quiet because, I'm not trying to make sure I'm heard through walls because I just don't want to go to my office.
Cunningham has since spoken out publicly about being snubbed, and reaction across the league office and player circles doesn't appear to be sympathetic toward her. There's a sense that neither the league nor the Players Association is eager to keep dealing with the controversy, and some speculate her time in the league itself may be numbered.
Because I just don't want to go to my office at this stage. It's too late at night and it's kind of cold. I don't really want to change. I just don't want to do it. But no Fever players when they're 3 of the top 4 in 3-point percentage. Yeah, Fever are 3 of the top 4 in 3-point percentage, and they invited one of them who said no, who isn't one of those 3. And if you said we didn't, Caitlin Clark didn't go, and Sophie...
On the numbers side, 3 of the top 4 3-point shooters this season play for the Fever, yet only one of them received an invite, and that player already declined. If Aaliyah had been the one to show up instead of decline, this whole situation would likely look far less controversial. As it stands, it comes across as though the league quietly discouraged an entire roster from participating once one player said no, rather than extending invites based on merit alone.
And Sophie, if Aaliyah rocked up, I think this would be one thing where it seems a lot less bad. This is almost like, you know what, Caitlin, if you say no, we're going to stop your whole team from showing up. We're going to stop your whole team. If you say no, none of your teammates. That being said, like Sophie Cunningham clearly wants to do this. She clearly does. Sophie's the ultimate shitster. Just go to Cabo for a few days, give yourself. Jesus Christ.
Separately, an account impersonating a player circulated an extremely dark and inappropriate message toward Cunningham, referencing serious illness and self-harm. Regardless of intent, the comment crossed a clear line and drew widespread criticism for how far it went. Despite the ugliness surrounding the discourse, Cunningham is still considered a strong contender for 6th Player of the Year, even though Janelle remains the clear frontrunner for that honor. Cunningham's frustration is understandable, given her track record with All-Star Weekend appearances in the past.
Jesus Christ. Like, what? Fucking hell. I get it, it's meant to be a joke, but Jesus, that's dark. That is maybe the most dark thing I have seen. Like, that's so dark.
There's also a broader sense building around the Fever roster, the sense that the entire team feels increasingly isolated from the league's decision-making, as though nothing they do will earn goodwill from the wider league structure. That mentality, whether accurate or not from an outsider's perspective, has historically correlated with the team playing with more intensity and cohesion. When the roster feels like the league is stacked against them, they tend to tighten up and perform better as a unit. If Cunningham, Mitchell, Clark, and Leah all carry that same edge into the second half of the season, Indiana becomes a noticeably more dangerous team than when everyone's simply trying to keep the peace.
NBA Communications. Here it says the July 18th New York Liberty versus Indiana Fever game on CBS is now the second most watched WNBA game since 2000. Since 2000, averaging 2.579 million viewers, peaking at 3 million viewers. 3 million viewers for Caitlin Clark. Who else in this league getting 3 million viewers? Is it Asia Wilson? No. Is it Olivia Miles? I love her game. No.
It seemed like the milestones had already piled up for the day. Then another one landed. The United States wasn't the only one posting historic numbers. CBS joined in too, boosting its own audience thanks to the one player capable of pulling that off, Caitlin Clark. The network logged its best-rated WNBA broadcast of the entire season because of her. At the same time, the league itself appeared to get brushed aside, as Clark seemed to signal she was stepping back from extra obligations, feeling the effort she'd put in wasn't being valued.
Is it Paige Becker's getting 3 million viewers? No. Only the GOAT Caitlin Clark can do this. 3 million viewers. You see it here. You see it here, more than 3 million viewers. CBS has the top 2 most watched WNBA games on any network this season, and both involve Caitlin the GOAT Clark. Both of them involve Caitlin the GOAT Clark. Now, while y'all running around trying to pretend like...
According to figures released jointly by CBS Sports PR and WNBA Communications, The July 18th matchup between the New York Liberty and Indiana Fever aired on CBS and became the second most watched WNBA broadcast dating back to 2000. The game averaged 2.579 million viewers and peaked at over 3 million.
While y'all running around trying to pretend like everybody else is a face in this league, y'all trying to pretend like everybody else is a face in this league, there's only one person that has the highest rated game on Amazon. One person, the highest rated game on USA. One person, the highest rated game on CBS. How is it that there's one person that's responsible for all of the highest viewed ratings on all of these different networks, but y'all trying to say somebody else is the face of the league?
3 million viewers, tied directly to Clark. No other player in the league has pulled a number like that this season. Not Aja Wilson. Not Olivia Miles, despite her being an exciting player to watch. Not Paige Buchers. Clark stands alone at that peak. CBS now holds the 2 highest-rated WNBA broadcasts of the year on any network, and Clark was the common factor in both.
Different networks, but y'all trying to say somebody else is the face of the league. Cut it out. Cut it out. Only Caitlin Clark can do this. Now, we chug along. Here it says Caitlin Clark, Sabrina Ionescu, Kayla McBride were all reportedly invited to participate in the WNBA three-point contest, but declined. And you know what I say? Stick it to him, Caitlin. I think Caitlin is entering her I don't give a damn era, and I'm loving it.
Even as some try to suggest other players carry equal weight as the face of the league, the numbers tell a different story. One name sits behind the top-rated game on Amazon. The same name sits behind the top-rated game on USA Network. And now that same name sits behind the top-rated game on CBS. When one player is consistently driving every ratings record across every network carrying the league, the argument that someone else deserves that title becomes hard to support.
I'm loving it. She's entering that I don't give a damn era because she finally realized she woke up and smelled the coffee. Caitlin, there's nothing you can do to get these jealous, hating, envious people to like you. You giving them the highest view ratings for a WNBA three-point shootout, raising the bar. You getting them multi-million-dollar contracts. You getting them all PJ. They still don't like you. They are jealous. They are haters.
Elsewhere, reports surfaced that Clark, along with Sabrina Ionescu and Caitlin McBride, had been invited to join the WNBA's three-point contest lineup, but turned the invitation down. This decision is being
jealous. They are haters. They despise you. You don't need to run around trying to please them anymore. You don't need to run around trying to help them anymore. Give them the middle finger and do your thing on the basketball court. Damn them. You've done enough. And they've been very, very unappreciative. Very unappreciative. You don't need to do anything else for them. Declined the three-point shootout. Now, who's in the three-point?
Turning to who is competing in the three-point contest, the field includes Bridget Carlton, Azza Fudd, Nalissa Smith, Ryan Howard, Marina Mabrey, and Jewel Lloyd. Between the two frontrunners, Smith and Mabrey, either would be a fitting winner. This lines up with earlier comments from Ionescu, who reportedly said she'd sit out the event herself if Clark wasn't participating. There have also been mentions of other players, including Wilson, discussing wanting to address Clark directly during All-Star Weekend. The overall read here is that Clark is moving past efforts to satisfy every stakeholder and is simply focusing on her game.
The three-point shootout. Now, who's in the three-point shootout? Bridget Carlton, AZ Fudd, Natisha Heidemann, Ryan Howard, Marina Mabrey, and Janelle Salone. I'm going for one half of the stud butt, Natisha Heidemann or Marina Mabrey. I want one of them to win it. But that's just what it is, man. Caitlin Clark sticking it to the WNBA. Y'all already remember Sabrina said she wasn't going to participate if Caitlin didn't participate. Y'all remember that. So it's like.
Separately, analyst Cynthia Cooper weighed in on the dynamic between Clark and teammate Kelsey Mitchell, noting they form one of the most offensively dangerous backcourts in the league. The complication is financial and structural. Indiana likely can't retain both players on maximum contracts long-term, and this may end up being the final season the two share the court together. Cooper's broader point is that a franchise needs a clearly defined top option, and Indiana currently lacks that clarity in a way teams like Dallas, Las Vegas, and New York do not.
Didn't participate. Y'all remember that. So it's like, yeah, Caitlin Clark, she's done trying to please y'all. You got Asia Wilson, them talking about how they need to corner her at All-Star and have a talk. Get the hell out of here, man. Caitlin Clark shoving it to the WNBA. Now, Cynthia Cooper has some discourse about the Caitlin Clark-Kelsey Mitchell dynamic. And I believe that, yes, they are offensively the most explosive backcourt in the league. For one, the Indiana Fever can't afford to keep both of them on max deals. And for two,
In her remarks, Cooper described Indiana as facing a fundamental question of hierarchy, comparing the situation to needing a clear Batman and Robin structure that currently doesn't exist. She noted that both players are highly talented, with Mitchell in particular being an elite scorer, but pointed out that without an established pecking order, the team faces unnecessary uncertainty in critical moments. She contrasted this with other franchises that have already settled those questions internally. Cooper also referenced how the team performed while relying on Mitchell during Clark's absence last season, coming within one game of the finals, but maintained that roles still need to be defined clearly going forward, naming Clark as the option the team should build around in decisive moments. Whether or not that split ultimately happens, the season will play out and reveal more. As for Clark stepping back from extracurricular league events, the framing here is that it's an understandable and even reasonable choice, given the scrutiny and criticism she continues to face, despite her measurable impact on ratings and revenue across the league.